Hi, everybody. I am Arun Ramakrishnan, a product manager with Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And today we're going to be talking about evaluating costs and incentives for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure migration. A little bit about more about myself. I've been with OCI or Oracle Cloud Infrastructure close to 2 years now. I am a senior principal product manager with that team, and I am the product owner for various features such as cost management features on the OCI console, support rewards on the OCI console, as well as a feature that was launched earlier this year called License Manager. Here is an interesting statistic for most of you. And this came out this year in the Flexera 2022 State of the Cloud report. Nearly 80% of the customers who responded to a survey indicated that they're using a hybrid cloud approach. What this means is essentially, even though there is a push to move more and more of your infrastructure or your workloads or your applications to the Googles, the GCPs of this world, the AWSs of the world, the OCIs of this world, there's still significantly 80% of customer base who are still using a combination of the two, right? They still have a presence. They are eager to move their new workloads or onto the public cloud, but they still do have a large on-premise or private cloud infrastructure presence. And let's dig into the details as to why that is. Now, why do customers prefer a hybrid approach? Now, there are four main reasons that I can think of. Number one is that it's a critical line of business application. A lot of times for companies, it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? There's just like too much overhead involved in trying to move these critical business applications into the cloud. There's probably disruption to a lot of critical business processes that they just do not want to go through. There's security and compliance requirements. Even though the cloud is catching up in a lot of places, the bare truth still is a lot of the security and compliance requirements were written with on premise infrastructure in mind. And that security and compliance world hasn't completely caught up with what that new experience looks like on the public cloud. And the more interesting or the more important, probably, I think, like business reason that I can think of is these customers have already had like a lot of heavy investment in existing on premise assets. An example of some of these on premise assets are like, licenses acquired over time. And these licenses could, like, they've invested in perpetual license or unlimited licenses. They've invested in, like, heavy duty infrastructure. And to these customers, they're just not ready to treat this infrastructure investment as sunk cost and get rid of it, right? They just cannot justify it to their stakeholders. And the fourth reason that I can think of is the costs in migrating to the public cloud. Customers aren't appropriately incentivized to move to the public cloud in some cases. Now, here's just a couple of examples that we'll go through in this presentation on how Oracle helps you. We understand that you have this hybrid presence, and we're going to work with you to make sure that we're supporting this hybrid presence for you, both from the perspective of Oracle support reports. That's a great example. And another example is we support Bring Your Own License or BYOL on OCI. And what BYOL essentially is using that on-premise investment that we spoke about and seeing how you can port this and use that on towards infrastructure that you spin up on the cloud. Let's first dig into Oracle Support Rewards, talk into a little more detail about what it is and what are the different tools that we've built to kind of help you drive it and solve, like, your day-to-day problems. Now, here's a brief overview of the Support Rewards program. So, say you're a customer who has like a tech license support contract with Oracle, and you also have an OCI presence. Just like your credit card, you can actually accrue points or rewards based on your OCI usage. And you can use these rewards to pay off your tech license support contract invoices. And hence, you can reduce the cost of your support license contract. So let me walk you through an example. Say you had $1 million in your tech license support contract fees, and you had about $4 million in your eligible OCI usage. You would accrue, like, say, 25% of that $4 million in usage, and towards, like, rewards that you could apply towards your support invoice. So 25% of 4 million is essentially $1 million, which means that in effect your support license contract would be net zero, right? The only thing that you would still have to pay, which unfortunately none of us can escape, are taxes. Customers who participate in the support rewards program accrue on two basic rates, right? If you are a ULA or an unlimited license customer, you essentially accrue rewards at a 33% rate, which essentially means that if you're a ULA customer, almost, like, you could accrue rewards for one third of your OCI eligible usage. If you're a non ULA customer, we still have your back. You can accrue rewards at one fourth or 25% of your eligible OCI usage. Now, we spoke about, like, how these rewards benefit you, but a lot of times, like, customers have trouble with, like, transparency, trying to understand, like, what rewards they have accrued, how do they manage the process, so on and so forth. And at OCI, we've thought through your needs, right? So we have a dedicated support rewards page on the OCI console. This is the page where you can log into and you can look at your earned rewards and at your balance at any given point in time. You can also dig into the specific usage that earned you these rewards. You can understand the eligible versus non eligible portion of these usages. What's more, this system is interconnected to the billing center system. So you can actually log into OCI and authorize your bill to contacts or the exact set of users you want to be able to go redeem these invoices for you, on the billing center. This is essentially users who will be able to redeem the credits that you've earned or the rewards that you've earned towards in the billing invoices or the support contract invoices that you've incurred. And recently, we've also launched the capability where you're able to audit who has been redeeming these rewards for you. So, in OCI, there is a redemption history page where you can go into and look at the details of, like, who in like which invoice was paid with the support rewards, how much of the accrued rewards was used, etc. A lot of rich detail, which we hope helps you complete the picture with regards to support rewards. With that, let's talk about another tool. I know we spoke about BYOL, or Bring Your Own License. We recently launched earlier this year this tool called License Manager within the OCI console that helps you do BYOL with confidence on OCI. And let's understand first, like, what are some of the benefits why you as a customer who has investments in on-premise license assets should think about BYOL and how License Manager can benefit you. Now, how does BYOL benefit you? BYOL allows you to use your existing on premise assets towards resources in OCI, right? And there is a significant cost saving when you do that. In some cases, that cost saving can be 4x or even greater, compared to, like, what you would pay for a license included price for the same resource in question. And BYOL is intended to make it easier to lift and shift your on premise workloads onto OCI. Now, even though there's this great program that benefits you, that helps you build easy portability from on premise to the cloud world, there are barriers to entry, and we acknowledge that. right? Some of the barriers for entry that we're aware of are these complex license portability rules that exist out there. Um, the need for customers to understand what they're utilizing and forecasting needs accordingly. And third thing is customers want to stay on top of what is my BYOL utilization or what is my license utilization on a cloud infrastructure. And today customers do not have solid tools or they did not have solid tools in order to do this kind of tracking and forecasting. They would either do it manually or do it via tools such as Excel or invest in expensive third party tools that would do the auditing process for them. Now, introducing License Manager and how License Manager essentially addresses these needs for you as a customer. Number one, it automates these license portability rules. Customers can rely on License Manager to identify the best fit BYOL resource to license. So you as a customer come in and define a license configuration for your Oracle Database Enterprise Edition product, for example. We will automatically scan, when I say we, License Manager will automatically scan your tenancy for all the database as a service resources that you're running, right? And automatically attribute those BYOL resources to the license configuration that you've created. We've created a single pane of glass. You don't need to log into multiple portals in order to track, your BYOL utilization on infrastructure as a service versus platform as a service resources. And you can use the same tool to track Oracle and third-party license utilization. Um, and we've added on top of it, we understand that you're busy, you can't always be watching a dashboard to stay on top of things. And we've added the ability where you can get email notifications on the state of things with regards to licenses in your environment. And these email notifications will inform you about scenarios such as oversubscription or of licenses. What I mean by oversubscription is essentially your requirement from a BYOL perspective is far greater than the licenses that you're entitled to. And at the same time, a lot of times there are these dates or information that you want to keep track of. An example is like the license expiration date or support contract expiration date. And License Manager will help you track that information and proactively notify you of these events so that you can stay on top of them and reach out to your salesperson or your support contract person and get the appropriate renewals done. Here's a brief overview of how License Manager functions. License Manager, you as a customer would come in and define your license configuration in License Manager. As part of that, you will say which product is this license for, what metric is it for. If you wanted to track your license on compute VMs, then essentially you would associate the image you're using to create that compute VM with this product license or license configuration. Once that's done, you don't have any other action with regards to manually associating the resources you create to the license configuration you just created. License Manager will take care of that for you. It will automatically scan your tenancy, identify all the resources involved, be it platform as a service database resources such as autonomous database, autonomous transaction processing, etc. Or it could be compute VMs that you've created using the images that you associated with this license configuration. And it will do the math of attributing based on the conversion rules that are codified. It will do the math and do the attribution of resource to license. And we help you visualize that information on the License Manager dashboard. You can come in, you can see what your requirements are at any given point in time versus what your entitlements were. And for those, like I mentioned earlier, for those of you who do not want to log into the console every day, you can essentially configure it so that you can receive email alerts on a weekly basis, which will inform you about oversubscription and license expiration scenarios. Now, these benefits, re-emphasizing some of them, we've got a couple of screenshots of the tool as it looks like on OCI today. Um, one of on the left side, you will see a tool which or a screenshot which tells you here's all the licenses you've created or configured on License Manager, and right off the bat you can tell if are things okay or are the issues found, and issues are found typically when you have expired licenses or you have an oversubscription scenario. And an oversubscription scenario, like I mentioned before, is your requirement is far greater than your entitlement. Now, just having this information sometimes isn't enough, right? What do you do with this information? And that's where License Manager helps you as well. In a scenario where you were, say, oversubscribed, you can actually dig into a license configuration detail or a product license detail, and you can see the list of all the resources that are attributed to it with all of their individual license requirement. And from there, it's just a one click action which will take you directly to the resource if you need it, and you can take corrective action or you can take action that is needed to make sure your requirement matches your entitlement. This could be things such as switching the metadata of the resource from being BYOL to license included. It could be changing the or right sizing the resource so that you're using fewer processors or fewer OCPUs. Or it could be disabling or terminating the resources. A whole host of decisions are available to you just by having that information available to you from License Manager. In summary, I want to leave you with this information. Oracle understands that you have hybrid needs. We understand that it's not an immediate thing that you're going to move your entire infrastructure on premise and otherwise onto the cloud, right? And we support it. We're one of the few clouds that support your presence both on premise as well as the presence on the cloud. And we want to build synergy in both cases. And the synergy we build is by being helping you doing leverage your on-premise licenses to be able to do BYOL on OCI and save significant amount of money. And at the same time, we want to benefit you the other way around as well, where your OCI usage is essentially earning you support rewards that you can apply towards these on-premise support contracts that you have with Oracle. So don't hesitate. Reach out to your Oracle sales representative today and talk to them about these programs. Thank you.